Hello everyone, E here. Welcome to yet another LEGO Hogwarts update. Have plenty to do and plenty of stuff to show you, so without further ado, let's just get into it. Alrighty, I have stripped the old courtyard of most of the walls, well, all of the walls and all the details, and I have tidied up all the missing pieces pretty much. And here is the new courtyard. So I think I will begin by placing a whole bunch of 1x1s tiles in all the little gaps here, similar to where some are already placed, on the inside, on the outside, where these windows are. So I'll place all of these, which will take a while. And then I think I will continue by transferring the dark tan tiles of the floor of the outside corridors onto here. And probably while doing that we'll place benches similar way, but I will try to make them a little bit different, maybe similar to these or identical to these. We'll see how it goes. So let's start with all that. Alrighty, I actually spent quite a lot of time before filming and got a lot of stuff to cover. So here is the new courtyard connected, and here is whatever is left of the old courtyard, which is pretty much as it should be, stripped of everything other than the stairs and the gatehouse. So like I said, I started by placing all the 1x1 tiles on the windows, so 6 on each window, and we placed all of those inside and outside. And you can also see that I placed all the, well, almost all the first layer of texture as well, mostly excluding the 1x5s that they will need here. I guess I could go back and place another 1x1 here with a snot, and I will use 1x4s and a 1x1, and probably will end up saving money if I do the math, which I'm not gonna do, but I decided to use 1x5s to have one solid piece of the first layer, and I'm not going back. So let's leave it at that. So after I did all this, I proceeded to take out all the dark tan pieces and tiles and place them over here from one of the courtyards to the other one, with one little edit. Wherever we have a little 1x1 plate, like here, where something can be placed, usually a minifig, the remaining L piece of the square, I could use the 1x2 and a 1x1 tile, and since now I have a bag of, I would say 500 of these L pieces tiles in dark tan, which seems to be quite expensive, but I have quite a few of them for the time being. I swapped all that combination pieces of 1x1 and 1x2 with the L piece, and now it looks a lot better in my opinion. I also transferred the braziers. Again, these braziers are this way, so we can have braziers here, and at the same time they are not too big, as the corridors are only 6 stud wide, and if I make a bigger brazier, it would take probably half of the corridor, which shouldn't be the case. So this is a bit of a concession. Decided not to change the braziers. I'm pretty happy with the way they are, like so. One thing that I did change is the gray benches that were inside. Again, we have the same amount, but as you can see, we have only one here, and the rest we only have indicators, because I don't have enough of these slope pieces to make all the benches. Once I do, which probably will be by the end of this update, or I mean by the end of this filming session, so by the time this video is released, maybe you will see them, but maybe you will not. As I'm filming this, I still don't know. So moving on, after that I made these benches a little bit different, but basically from above they're the same. They're just a leggings here a little bit different, and I placed all the ingots with the exception of, well, over here the edges where we have a 1x1, and I didn't do anything, and I won't do anything probably in the next several days because I'm still deciding on what to do exactly. Over here you can see all the well, most of the vegetation that was used around all the gaps, which is something I'm looking to do again, but I haven't decided what exactly to do and how to approach this. I have pretty much three options. One of them is to take all these parts as I have taken a picture before, taking them apart and out of their spots, and place the same pieces the very same way on the very same spaces on the new courtyard. Second option would be to do pretty much the same but with different pieces. Maybe go a little bit lighter on the brighter colors, maybe go for a little bit darker, maybe go for some different compositions. Or the third option is to try to do a completely different kind of vegetation, maybe with completely different pieces, not only colorations, but maybe try to go for a bit of decaying vegetation, go for darker colors as well, which is probably what I'm leaning towards the most currently, but it's something that will take a bit of time and creativity and not rushing. Also, I need to see what exactly I have when it comes to vegetation in my bins. So yeah, I will leave that for a later time once more important things are done. Like, for example, placing all the texture on the outside, the second final layer, and also the stairs over here. Other than me being ganked by this troll, I actually opened that set recently. I'm not building it. I think it's pretty bad. Sue me if you disagree, but I think it's not a great set. But they are two very good minifigs, and one of them is this new troll mode, which is excellent. But anyway, I'm not advocating for buying sets for parts in any way. That's stupidity on a different level, but I digress. So next to all that, I have a little mock-up of how the stairs should be. Like I mentioned before, the courtyard is pretty much the same, but at the same time not the same. This inner square is 2 studs shorter when it comes to this side, and when it comes to vertically, I believe it's the same size. But also because previously we had pretty much the same height here, and now we have this mills plate over here. Basically it means that the great hall is by a brick, maybe brick and a half higher compared to the courtyard, which now means that if we want to have the same amount of stairs, which is 9, I would need the stairs to be steeper, which means we're going from 2 plate increments for each step to 3. Otherwise, the steps need to be more, and then that means that the steps will cover more space of the courtyard, which I'm not really sure I want to do. So for the time being, I'm trying to keep the same proportions when it comes to size of the stairs. I am planning to build this basically without the tiles for starters, but it will be removable, unlike this one, which I tried to remove without it exploding, but I had placed it into the construction and that's impossible to do. So I will rebuild it here and we'll see if it looks, well, acceptable with the steeper stairs. I know people are not a big fan of the stairs. People really don't like it, at least back 2 years ago. I have shared my opinion on the stairs many times. One of the things that I usually say is that they're a necessary evil for my my MOC and for my model of the castle. If I could choose, would I remove the stairs? Maybe, but at the same time, I would like to have some stairs, just not so many, and maybe not as steep. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. If I think it looks too steep or too weird, I will explore different options maybe. That's the idea. I will build the stairs and see how it looks, and maybe I'll leave it with that, and then maybe at some point I will do something else, or I will take it apart instantly or almost immediately after I decide that I don't like it, and I will see what to do. Maybe I will go back to the 2-plate increments, which means that the stairs will probably come up to here-ish, maybe, or maybe even further, which means that the stairs will cover a third of the courtyard space, which I really don't like. Maybe I will try to do something different with the stairs and not go with this simplistic but rather tidy variant here. But yeah, we'll see. It is actually what I will be doing in the next couple of days, while I still have time before this video has to come out. So yeah, with that, the other thing that is left to do is to do the roof. And I'm at a crossroads here as well, because I could either add a layer of snots here and have this texture be lowered, or I could have these elements raised by a brick and they will slot in right here, which I'm not really sure what to do. Both variants have good reasoning. First of all, I wouldn't like the courtyard itself to be too high. By raising the brick, I believe it would still be fine, but it might be too high. We'll see. But also, if I raise it, it means that also over here, where the window frame is, there will be another row of brick before actually the roof is, which will leave room for some decorations, which are noticeable in most pictures of the courtyard, and I hadn't added them because I didn't have the space before. And if I have this row of brick, it means that I will be able to add some different and further detailing, which is something that I like. So yeah, it is still undecided. So with that out of the way, I believe I'm going to focus on building the stairs as they are like this in these dimensions with 3-plate increments on each step, and see how that looks. So here I am with the progress so far. The first thing you might be noticing is this tiled section here where the stairs will be placed on several studs. The reasoning behind this is to be able to have even more modularity to the model. The stairs could be modified easily, they can be extracted, cleaned, etc. Excluding is this side here, this portion that is right next to the wall. As you might notice, these tiles are right underneath the tiling of the wall texture, and removing this from above will be difficult because these will hit the texture. So I just saved myself that hassle, so that part is gonna be here, so the stairs can again be easily removed. One thing that I did also is tile over everything around the edges, so it is all tiled pretty much properly with the way it was before, with several sections where the roof modules will be removed, the exception of these two, which are embedded into the construction like before, slightly different. Now one thing I'm considering over here, because we have this whatever it is over here, we have 2 studs and these pieces are 3 studs, these slopes. I'm finally considering of delving and digging underneath this pillar, opening enough space for a piece like this to go inside, so this ugly angle doesn't stick out as much anymore. And also the thing that I mentioned before on whether this should be raised by a brick, maybe I should raise it underneath, I decided to leave it like this. I actually did raise it already to add additional texture, which you'll see in the next updates, but I'm going to use these pieces here. So what I did do is I actually placed another row of plate underneath these slopes. So before we had only one row, now we have two rows, but it ends up to here. Then the space is used for these texture pieces, and then everything else is the same. And also one thing that I will do, but haven't done yet, is actually this texture part here where we have only a portion of tiling. We'll have a row of plate underneath, and that will actually mean that this will go up to here where the texture starts, which will be perfect. So I will repeat that next time, probably when this whole roof will be done. I will probably not have enough time to do it now. I have started for some of it, but I don't believe I have enough of these. I'm gonna need like 50 of them, maybe a bit more, to complete the whole square. So yeah, now this is what the stairs look like. And the first thing that might be popping into your mind is that the pattern of the colors is kind of symmetrical and not random. Now before it used to be random, and I kind of didn't like that too much, but I am not sure still whether this is the way to go. I am testing it out. I really want to hear your opinions. One way I could have done it is actually for these colorations not to go diagonally like this, but actually like a total vertically upwards. But I thought this was a bit more interesting, and considering that there'll be between 10 and 15, 20 minifigs maybe on these stairs. Well, maybe 20 is too much, but 10-ish minifigs or a dozen. The pattern will really not stick out as much as you're looking at now. Like obviously it's really obvious that the lines go like this diagonally, but it will not be noticeable. And I felt that when it was random, completely random, it just didn't suit very well. Now one other thing I'm considering is actually decreasing the dark bluish gray by a lot and just making the whole stairs light bluish gray with just a tiny bit of dark bluish gray here and there. So imagine that the dark bluish gray pieces are reduced by 80 to 85% to what you see now. That is one way to go. And the other way to go is for these patterns not to go obviously with any pattern, but just to be as random as possible. Or to be like this. I really am leaning towards all of the already mentioned options, but not really sure which one to go with. But yeah, tell me what you think. I'm sure most people say, "Oh, this is terrible. This pattern, this symmetry is a bad idea." Maybe, yeah, but considering that it was completely random up till now, I thought I'd try the other thing. But I might change it. We'll be able to remove all the tiling and place it differently. But yeah, would like to hear your opinion first. Now, this whole thing, like I mentioned, is now 3 plates high. Each step is 3 plates high, or 1 brick, which is an increase by 1 plate for each step compared to before. But as I mentioned, otherwise the stairs would have gone up to here, I believe, which looking from above would have been like a third of this whole space, and already actually covers a lot of ground, but up to here it kind of looks okay. It's not too consuming. I thought that otherwise it would have been just a problem. I would have gotten annoyed. So this is actually what I prefer. With this now, it means that this last step is the same level as the ground floor over here, which is the aim. And yeah, the same composition is what I'm planning to do after I wash all the minifigs that I showed before. We'll have a lot of them scattered here. We'll have the Trelawney scene here with McGonagall, with Umbridge, with Filch, and the luggage here, and a lot of students, and probably the same, or mostly the same, scenes here that were happening before inside the courtyard corridors. But all in all, this is all I have for you today. Once again, if you like my work and would like to see more, please consider subscribing and leaving down a like, as it really helps this channel to grow and have even more people know of its existence. Until then, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next 2 weeks or so. Bye for now. Happy building.